Welcome to Deconstructed Minifigures, You. I use this one a lot for inductions and it works super well. What I basically do is, as you can see here, I've got a whole ton of minifigures. I have built these up over the years and stole most of them from my son, if I'm really honest. But what I would suggest is that if you are using minifigures, however many you've got in your group, let's say you've got 12, you need to at least put 50% extra in on that, so 18 at the absolute minimum, because what you're doing here is you're allowing for choice. So the idea is that once you've done the whole kind of welcome and gone through a few bits and pieces and you've got to know them a bit better, you would then have your deconstructed minifigures in bowls somewhere within the room, and you would ask your learners to go to them to make a minifigure that best represents them ... The ... is for whichever context it is that you're talking about. So if it is purely for introduction purposes, then that best represents yourself. But also if you're talking about leadership or management or project management or anything like that, you can introduce it to that as well. So build a minifigure that best represents you as a project manager or as a leader or as a first-time manager. And what people will do is they will pick different things accordingly. Now, I have a bowl of bottoms, a bowl of tops, a bowl of heads, and a bowl of accessories. These are all minifigure accessories, so they've actually come with the minifigures themselves. So let's have a look. People will start off in different places. Sometimes they get a bit muddled up with things. There are some quite random ones in here. Mermaid. Just some trousers and stuff, and you will find that people will gravitate towards certain things. Just a note of caution on the heads. Some of the older ones do actually have flesh colour. I was going to say flesh colour. I'm not entirely sure what flesh colour that meant to be, but I have had some different flesh colour ones before. They are quite tricky to get a lot of, so I'm going to take that one out and just leave the yellow, because then we are all just yellow. We are all Lego. It doesn't matter what ethnicity we are in real life. For this scenario, we are just Lego, so it makes it a lot easier for people to be able to go, okay, well, I've got a nice smile, so I'm going to use that one rather than trying to choose skin colour. So they start to build. You'll probably find that most people will spend their time with accessories, because these can be quite plain. So I've got a pair of trousers here. Maybe I've got I don't want a medallion top. What else could I have? I could have see, I'm doing exactly what the learners would do. How does that fit into me? I'm not entirely sure I ever wear dungarees, but just for the purposes of this. So I am quite smiley, so let's get a smiley face. Right, now, here we go. Let's push these bowls out of the way, because now I can really choose how I want to express myself. So in terms of let's say my management style, let's say that's what we're going for. I might go for I'm a bit of a Viking, a kind of thunder in there and take no prisoners type of thing. Or I might be a bit of a stormtrooper. I follow the rules. What else? And then people will make up their own things, and I've got quite a few random stuff in here. Look, we've got a little monkey, so maybe somebody will choose that because they really like animals. The panda. Maybe cats tend to get a good look in as well, but also things like, let's see what else we've got here. Capes and wizards hats. Quite a good one for leadership. A lot of people might say, it feels like it's magic sometimes. You just kind of have to get your spell book. Does that open? Oh, it does. Look at that. So you get your spell book and you have to try and work your magic with what you've got. So give people quite a bit of time to do this so that they can choose their different pieces, and then also give them time to think about how they're going to describe it. And then what I tend to do is I tend to get people to line up their minifigures. Of course, that's not going to stand up. There we go. So here's one I had earlier. So we get people to line them up and get them to talk about them quite openly. And you will tend to find that people will tell you things that they want you to know, that are important to them, rather than just going, okay, what's your name, which department you're from, all that kind of thing. People will go, actually, you know, I chose this because in terms of being a ramp, I'm very energetic. I like to be on the go. And they're not telling you that because they want to tell you they're energetic. They're telling you that because sitting with you for however many hours it is that you've got planned, if you don't have something where they can get up and move and walk around, they're going to get restless. That's what they're really telling you. People never say things straight, but you know, give them a metaphor or give them something that's visual, and they will be able to explain it in their own words. Yeah, so that's basically it. So remember, for this you're going to need at least 50% more minifigures than you've got learners. You're going to need some bowls for this. You're going to need some time, obviously, to do it, and you're going to need some instructions for them to be able to work out, well, what am I doing with this? Some people, be prepared for some who decide not to really kind of play along. So they actually might be, I don't know, this is probably the plainest that I can get this person. There we go. So you might have somebody that goes, there you go, that's me. You can help them expand on it a little bit more, you know, by saying, okay, so why did you choose those pieces? I said, well, you know, I'm just a plain kind of guy. It's no frills. And you don't have to push it any further, because again, they are telling you something about themselves by not telling you something about themselves. They might be very guarded. They might not be bought into this playing with Legos. Oh, I've got two faces there. That's interesting. So you don't have to push it. Just make a mental note. And what you'll find is that as you start to go throughout your session, you will recognise that the fact that that very plain Lego minifigure was them telling you that what you see is what you get. I'm probably not going to be that engaged right now, but I am listening. And I don't do this kind of gamey stuff because I'm feeling a little uncomfortable with it. And that's absolutely fine. Okay, so there we go. That's the deconstructed minifigures talking about themselves.